Welcome to this video lecture on SLR Parser. In the previous class, I have discussed construction of LR0 items and construction of LR0 automata. The same will be utilized here in the construction of SLR Parsing Table. In this, I will be discussing the problem of constructing SLR Parsing Table for this grammar. The parsing table is having two parts, that is action and goto, and it is having a few rows and columns. So these rows are corresponding to the I0 or the canonical LR0 items in the LR0 automata, as there are items from 0 to 11. So we have states from 0 to 11, and the grammar that we have seen here in this, there are three non-terminals, that is E, T and F, and there are terminals, that is plus, star, opening bracket, ID. So these are listed here in the column. So the algorithm for constructing the SLR parsing table, input for this is the augmented grammar, and the output is the SLR parsing table with two parts, that is action and goto part. So the algorithm begins with the construction of LR0 items from I0 to IN, and the initial state of the parser is the one constructed from the set of items containing S dash gives S. So here in the set of items that we have obtained, I0 is having the item E dash gives E. So it begins from the state I0 in this example. So state I is constructed from II. That means if the item set is labeled as I4, then the state level will be 4. The parsing table, which is having two parts, the action part. For constructing the action part, these three rules are followed, and for constructing the goto part, this one rule is followed. So I'll be discussing these rules with example in the further slides. So as stated, two parts, action and goto part, total 12 rows from 0 to 12, 0 to 11, and the column is representing the grammar symbols. Now we'll go ahead. The first item, which is I0, which is having E dash gives dot E. So this I0 becomes the initial state for this SLR parsing table. Now here, the first action part. In this, the rule, if A gives alpha dot A beta is in II and goto of IA results in IJ, this is taken from the LR0 automata. Then the action here, it is set to shift J, where this J is this J, which is the state which is reached with the terminal A. Now we'll relate this with this item. Now what is required? We need to find a terminal with a dot before. So here these two are the terminals which are having dot before them. So only these two are to be considered according to this rule. Now what we have to find? We have to find, now we have obtained one which is in II. Now we have to find the goto of II, that means goto of I0 with the terminal A, that is the terminal opening bracket, and the terminal ID. So where it goes? So here if you refer, see, goto of I0 with opening bracket, goto of I0 with opening bracket goes to I4, and goto of I0 with ID goes to I5. So the same is listed here. I0 with opening goes to I4 and I0 with ID goes to I5. So what we referred? We referred to the LR0 automata, and from the automata we have taken these states. Now we know IJ, that is J, hence the action for I0 and opening will be shift to 4, I0 and opening will be shift to 4, and the action for I0 and ID will be shift to 5. Here as you can see that shift, instead of shift we have used S as the short form here. Now for the second item set I1, the rule which is to be applied here, this rule is to be applied. So you can see that there is a dot before this plus. Hence this becomes small a. Now what we have to find? We have to find goto from I1 with plus. Goto from I1 with plus. Goto from I1 with plus results in I6. Hence we have written here that is goto of I1 with plus is I6. So this becomes the J. So the action is shift to 6. I1 and plus is shift to 6. So this is how we have constructed. Now this next rule is applicable here. The rule says if S dash gives S dot is in that particular I, then set action from the state I with input dollar to accept. So here S dash, that is E dash, S dot, that is E dot. So we'll be considering this rule, and considering this rule, the action from I1 with dollar will be set to accept. Now the next, that is the I2. Once again this rule is applicable because there is a dot before star and star is a terminal symbol. So I2 with star, I2 with star. Here I2 with star results in I7. Hence the action will be from I2 with star. So here the action will be shift to 7. Then the next, the third rule which says if A gives alpha dot is in I. So here you can see A gives alpha dot is in I2, then set action from 2 with A to reduce A gives alpha, where this A should be in follow of A. So that means we have to find follow of E, and for every terminal in follow of E we have to add the action reduce. Now we'll see here this is the grammar. Using this grammar now we'll find out follow of E. E which occurs here, following E is plus. So here the follow of E which is here, that is plus, and following E is this closing bracket. So plus and closing bracket gets added, and as E is a start symbol, the follow of E will also get a dollar. So this is how we have obtained the follow of E using this grammar. Now these grammar rules are labeled here. This is first rule, second rule. In that way all 6 rules are labeled with a number here. Now what we have to do is, this A gives alpha dot is E gives T dot, which is there in I2. So 2 with A, that means 2 with plus, 2 with closing, 2 with dollar, will be set to reduce to A gives alpha which is 2. So it will be set to R2. So 2 with closing, 2 with dollar and 2 with plus will be set to reduce to 2. Reduce to 2, 2 which is E gives T is the production rule. So the next, which is for the third item set, that is I3. So to this item set, this third rule is applicable, and according to this third rule, A gives alpha dot. Once again, A gives alpha dot. So what we have to do is, we have to find follow of T. So follow of T, which is here, follow of T is star, and T which is here. So according to this, follow of T equal to follow of E, and follow of E is plus closing and dollar. So follow of T will get star plus closing and dollar. So in all these columns for I3, for I3 plus I3 star, I3 closing and I3 dollar, will be adding reduce action. Reduce with T gives F. T gives F is rule number 4. So R4 is to be added here. Where it should be added? Once again, this I is I3 here. So 3 to the state 3. Now A is all these terminals which are there in follow of T. So 3 star 3 plus 3 closing bracket and 3 star 3 dollar will get the rule reduce by 4. Reduce by 4. So we get R4 in all these positions. Then the next, which is I4. Now here the first rule is applicable. So according to this, we have to find a terminal with a dot before. So here is a dot before the terminals. Now we have to find goto of I4 with opening and goto of I4 with ID. So I4 goes to I4 with the opening bracket and I4 goes to I5 with ID. Hence, the two shift actions are added for these two terminal symbols, that is opening and ID, according to this rule number 1. Now the next, which is I5. I5 is following this rule, that is A gives alpha dot. A gives alpha dot. Dot should be at the end of the production rule. In this case, we have to find follow of F, and for every terminal in follow of F, we have to set the reduce rule. So F gives ID is a rule number 6. So R6 will be set. Now follow of F. Follow of F. Here, because F is at the end, so follow of F is equal to follow of T, which is star plus closing and dollar. So for all these columns, it will be set to reduce 6 for the row number 5. Row number 5 and these 4 columns will get R6. Then the next, which is I6. Now in this again, these two rules are satisfying. These two production rules are satisfying the rule number 1. Hence, the state I6 with the opening bracket goes to I4. So it will be shift to 4 and shift to 5. So shift to 4 and shift to 5. With ID it goes to I5 and with opening it goes to I4. Then the next, here again there are these two. So with these two we have to find goto. Goto from I7 with opening bracket is I4 and goto from I7 with ID is I5. So S4 and S5 will be added here. Then the next, which is I8. I8, here again there is a dot before plus. So this rule is satisfied and we need to find now 8, I8 and plus. I8 and plus, it should be plus, it goes to I11. Here I8 plus goes to I6 and I8 with closing bracket goes to I11. So this is how it has shifted to S11 and S6 again. So plus and closing, these two are to be considered. So this closing is written here and this plus is written here. And this, as you remember, in the previous slides, I have shown the automata, LR0 automata, and by referring to that automata, we have taken these transitions. So there is a transition in that automata from I8 with plus going to I6 and from I8 with closing going to I11. So we have shifted it to J. J is this 11 and 6, so it has become S6 and S11. Now once again, the next, which is I9, having a dot before terminal, so star. So I9 with star in that automata goes to I7. So we get shift 7 in the star column for the state 9. Now it is also satisfying the another rule, that is E gives alpha dot at the end of the production rule. Hence we have to find follow of E, and follow of E, which is plus closing and dollar. Now we'll get E gives E plus T, which is rule number 1. So R1 is to be added in the row number 9 for these 3 columns. So R1 is added for these 3 columns. Then further it is I10, which is again following the rule A gives alpha dot. Hence we find follow of T, and follow of T, which is having these 4. So this T gives T star F, which is rule number 3. So R3 needs to be added in these 4 columns. For 10th row and for these 4 columns, plus star, closing and dollar, we have added reduce by rule number 3, and we have considered these 4 because these are in follow of T. Then finally I11, which is again following the rule A gives alpha dot. So here we have set the action to reduce, because the follow of F, which is having these four terminal symbols, and for all these terminals in the row 11 will get the rule 5 here. This is 5, so it should be 5. It should be 5 here. Okay, so now we'll go ahead with the next part. Now this automata, the same automata I have represented in the tabular form, like with I0, E, T, with E it goes to I1, with T it goes to I2. So in the same way, these state levels are just listed here. Now this table will be utilized further. As stated, the goto part, the rule is if goto of I and the non-terminal A results in Ij, then goto from state I with non-terminal A goes to the state J. Now from this table, we just have to refer the non-terminal part, and these terminals are not required. So I have just cut the table and that is pasted here. Now from state I0, from state I0, I0 here with the terminal E, it goes to the state I1. So here from 0 with the input E, it will go to the state 1. Similarly, from 0 with the input T, it will go to the state 2. From 0 with the non-terminal F, it will go to the state 3. So these are listed here. On the same line, for I4 it will be 8, 2 and 3. Then for I6 it will be 9 and 3. And for I7 it will be 10. So this is how we have constructed the SLR parsing table. Here the only mistake is it should be R5. So we'll remember that this should be corrected to R5. Reference for this video lecture was the book on compilers by Alfred Aho. Thank you.